Hey there! Did you know Baker's always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Baker's app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Baker's today. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
The Tea Biz podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea is both art and craft. It nourishes and inspires. It is the most ancient of plant-based medicines, simultaneously energizing the body as it soothes the mind. Intimately local in character, the $200 billion tea trade exerts global influence, employing millions to supply consumers at far greater volumes than coffee. Tea is a fascinating and intricate topic, far more complex than one person can master. That is why the Tea Biz podcast enlists 40 voices skilled in 12 languages to tell the story of tea. Authentic reporting relies on the expertise of professionals who know the tea lands from birth and speak the native tongue. Transparency, in our view, is grounded in storytelling at origin. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. Ekaterra names a new CEO and a chair of the board. Coca-Cola launches an herbal tea line in China. A tea-scented perfume wins the prestigious Art and Olfaction Award. Plus, Tea Book Club founder Kyle Whittington reviews The Teabowl, East and West, a book authored by Dr. Bonnie Kemske, a ceramic artist for the past 30 years, curator, and longtime student of the Japanese tea ceremony. The book is filled to the brim with stunning images of all sorts of tea bowls, writes Whittington. More in a minute, but first this important message.
What makes a perfect cup of Ceylon tea? The perfect cup is from the tea businesses that ensure the protection of all the children living within their tea estates. We salute Kailani Valley, Telawakili, Bogawanthalawa, Harana, and Elliptia tea estates. Support Save the Children, Sri Lanka.
Ekaterra Tea, now the largest tea company in the world following its divestiture from Unilever, named Nathalia Roos CEO, replacing John Davison. Coffee executive Pierre Laubies is the new chair of the board. Roos is currently a non-executive director of Priya Manji and the Bell Group. She was previously head of L'Oreal's professional products division. Quote, tea holds an extraordinary role in societies around the world, steeped in tradition, culture, and community spirit, said Roos. It also has an incredible power to evolve and always be relevant to the times. Ekaterra's future will embody these elements too, alongside ambitious plans to become a leader in sustainable tea production, in farming, and distribution methods, and also as a supporter of the communities in which we operate, end quote, she said. Laubies is a 30-year veteran of the coffee industry with Jacobs Douwe Egberts and previously held positions with Coty, Mars, and Campbell Soup Company. Laubies said that, quote, Nathalia has precisely the right blend of skills for the role, with her strong commercial background, her ability to develop great teams, and a passion for building consumer brands and delivering growth. Working alongside Nathalia, we have the opportunity to grow our world-leading tea business, committed to reaching the highest sustainability goals. Rotterdam-based CVC Capital Partners Fund 8 paid 4.5 billion euros to acquire the company last November. Business Insight. The Ekaterra portfolio consists of 30 brands, including Lipton, PG Tips, Puka, T2, and Tazo. The former Unilever division generated sales of 2 billion euros in 2021, about 3.1 billion US. Unilever remains the third largest tea company, having retained its brands in India, Nepal, and Indonesia, the PepsiCo partnership for RTD teas in the US, and properties in Africa, India, and Indonesia. Coca-Cola, which has been trimming its global portfolio, has launched its first herbal teas in China. The brand contains Self-Heal, an herb marketed as an analgesic, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, with anticoagulation properties. It is used in beverages formulated to reduce blood viscosity and improve microcirculation. Herbal teas are popular in China as part of the traditional Chinese medicine regimen. Teas are consumed to aid the stomach, clear heat, remove dampness, and detoxify the body. WebMD writes that Self-Heal is used for inflammatory bowel disease such as Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, problems in the stomach and intestines, and even sore throat, as well as other conditions, but notes there are no good scientific evidential reports to support these uses. The bottled herbal category in China is dominated by Wang Laoji, a brand that outsells the top 4 competitors combined. As an omni-category giant, Coca-Cola is expected to quickly gain market share. The 500-milliliter beverage is bottled in Hong Kong by HealthWorks, a company acquired in 2006 by Coca-Cola, according to China News Weekly. The tea sells for $1.80 per bottle on Teabowl. Aged Tea by P7, a perfume produced in Taiwan, won the 2022 Art and Olfaction Award for Independent Producers this week. The annual competition, sponsored by the U.S.-based nonprofit Institute for Art and Olfaction, involves blind testing of scents from around the world. The A+OA Awards recognize artisan small-batch perfumers, independent perfume houses, and the experimental work of creatives. The competition is limited to 8 categories with 2-tier judging by internationally recognized perfumers. Awards were presented virtually at the World Perfumery Conference in Miami. Perfume designers Pan Yongxing and Wan Xin said that they were moved to tears on hearing the announcement. Quote, "I cried because I finally did it," end quote, said Pan. She said that the light fragrance of tea leaves aged for 10 years stood out in a market dominated by European floral and citrus scents. She attributed her affinity for the aroma of tea leaves to the 5 years she spent as a tea specialist. Her line of perfumes features signature scents of Taiwan, including shell ginger, Macao Latsi, betel nut flower, and millet wine. Aged Tea was the only Asian winner listed among the top fragrances. Business Insight. Elizabeth Arden, Sephora, Bulgari, Grain, and leading perfume houses offer tea-scented perfumes. In the U.S., millennials and Gen Zs are the driving force behind the perfume industry, according to a study by Statista that revealed 44% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 use perfume daily, with an additional 28% saying they use perfume several times a week. Together, 80% use perfume at least once a week. Arvinda and Antheraman in Bengaluru reports on this week's tea auction prices.
India Tea Price Report for the week ending July 2nd, 2022. It was another quiet week at the auctions. In Sale 26, Kolkata saw good demand for all tea types this week. Prices for CTC leaf and dust were similar to the previous week, but Orthodox tea and Darjeeling continue to see improved prices. The average price of Darjeeling tea went up by 100 rupees a kilo. In the south, CTC leaf did well at Cochin, while Orthodox leaf also did reasonably well. Exporters to the Middle East continue to be active. Orthodox dust continues to be absorbed completely, and Kannur continues to see good demand for Orthodox leaf, and major blenders were active for CTC leaf.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Bogdan, a passionate tea drinker and the inventor of the ultimate tea machine, the Brew Maker 1. Preparation is key to making fine tea. Sequential steepings deliver the best taste possible and unlock the true value of whole leaf teas and botanicals. Brew automates that process without using any pots or capsules. This simple-to-operate, smartphone-controlled device stores steeping profiles to consistently make great tea at the push of a button. Brew also reduces time, waste, and energy. That's because I engineered the brew to remember control settings for temperature, brewing time, and quantity. Using my patented process lets you stack steeps simply and conveniently.
This week, T-Biz travels to London, where Tea Book Club founder Kyle Whittington reviews The Teabowl, East and West, authored by Dr. Bonnie Kemske, a ceramic artist for the past 30 years, writer, curator, and longtime student of the Japanese tea ceremony.
In this book, my aim is to tell the story of the Teabowl from the point of view of a ceramicist and a long-time but erratic student of the Urasenke school, one of the many schools of tea ceremony in Japan. My intention is to give a sense of the Teabowl's use, history, law and context, and to explore its meaning in Japan and beyond. And that's a quote from The Teabowl, East and West by Bonnie Kemske. Hello, I'm Kyle Whittington, founder of Tea Book Club. That quote from the very beginning of the book really highlights what this wonderful book by Bonnie Kemske is about. It's a very personal human look at an object and subject, the Teabowl, which can often be talked about in an all too esoteric or intensely academic way. What Bonnie succeeds so well in doing with her book is to fuse the academic and esoteric contexts of the Teabowl with her personal experience as both a ceramicist and student of tea into a highly digestible book. Full to the brim with stunning images of all sorts of tea bowls, from the ancient and treasured to stunning contemporary bowls and, well, frankly, the wild and wacky. It's rare to find a book where the history of such an iconic and complex object is so well told that it is pleasurable to read, academically sound, and personable. Bonnie reaches out to us, the reader, to engage and explain. The story, law, and technicalities of the Teabowl are told through her lens, through her experiences. The history, context, and details are explored in such a way that they are never stodgy. Rather, the facts, names, dates, etc. are woven through a narrative that draws us into the world of the Teabowl, giving us a foundation from which to explore beyond the Teabowl's traditional tea room realm into the contemporary art gallery world of its iconic form. Through her exploration of touch and how we engage with an object on a physical and spiritual level, Bonnie introduces that most elusive and yet intrinsic element of the Teabowl, how it feels in our hands. Be you new to the Teabowl world or already a devotee, the importance of connecting with the bowl comes through well, and it's explained in a way that makes you stop, think, and question our own experiences with tea bowls in particular, and other ceramics too. As the title suggests, the book is a balance between East and West, and Bonnie explores this not just in the context and place of the tea bowl and how we experience it, but also the techniques and approaches to creation of tea bowls. Shape, glaze, decoration, texture, structure, material, and usability, or not, are all explored from both sides. The approach of potters and examples of their respective works are used to illustrate, both in the narrative and in pictures, the comparisons and points Bonnie makes throughout the book. However, the one thing that many of us would have found invaluable would be a bibliography or compendium of potters and their work that appear in the text and in pictures, as keeping track of names and works was quite challenging at times. All in, an excellent and stunning book that should be welcomed onto any tea bookshelf. Tea Book Club is an international group of tea lovers and readers who meet up virtually each month to discuss the tea books we read. My book reviews are a combination of my own thoughts and those of Tea Book Club members. Here's what Tea Book Club members thought. It's a beautiful book, and the work was really interesting, history, philosophy, and talking about the different attitudes, Japanese and Western. I absolutely loved the photography. I found it interesting how different they are. All in, fascinating work. Very interesting.
Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of tea biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.t-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.